Give it up for Mr. Brandon Patrick.
I should do that again, but I'm so high, there's just no way I'll pull it off. Guys, how we feel? You feeling good? Good. Good to see people. Let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Brandon Patrick, and I love getting fucked up. You guys, now please note, I didn't say I love getting drunk. That's for amateurs. I like getting fucked up. Like, I remember 2 distinct points in my life where people were like, you should fucking change your life. And I was like, this is the road I'm going down, brother. So I grew up in a town called Norman, Oklahoma, okay? Norman, Oklahoma is the whitest place to ever exist. If Hitler grew up in Norman, Oklahoma, we would all know him as that kooky art teacher who had opinions on stuff. But he grew up in the other place and that other stuff happened. But so Norman for me was a weird, very white experience, and we used to get fucked up. And we were in college, okay, I was 19 years old. We were hanging out. We weren't legally allowed to purchase alcohol, but what we were allowed to purchase was as much Robitussin as we wanted. So we would just drink the Robitussin and have a good time. One night we were on the Robo train, and I don't want to undersell this. We bought a student loan amount of cocaine. Like, think about how much cocaine you can buy for the money that you have right now. And then think if the government gave you $2,000 and said, hey, go live your life. We had that much cocaine on us. And we heard tell there was a strip club an hour away called the Dragon's Lair that was available to people 18 and up. So we're like, let's do the Robo train, take the Robo train up to Stillwater, and then we're gonna do a little bit of cocaine, we're gonna enjoy this strip club. That was the plan, okay? And technically, a lot of that stuff did happen. So we definitely did the Robitussin. We definitely got to a strip club. And let me tell you something. If a strip club is named the Dragon's Lair, there's a fucking reason, okay? We walked in, we saw all these dragons. You're like, wow, these are unattractive people. Who cares? We're gonna still have a good time. So we don't have any money, okay? We don't realize that's like a big part of a strip club. But we do all have sandwich bags full of cocaine. So like the girls are like dancing on stage, and she's like, you should just put $1 right there. I'm like, I don't have $1, but I got cocaine. And I would do that, and I would spray it, and they were like, ooh, cool, that's better. I was like, yeah, I know. And so one of the strippers got ambitious and said, hey, you want to go fuck in your car? And I was like, yeah. Because I did want to go. She fucking read my mind on that one. So we go out to the parking lot, and then I realized I didn't drive, my buddy drove. And so I explained it to her. I'm like, hey, I don't have a car, but I can fuck you on the hood of my friend's car if that's cool. And she's like, yeah, that's cool. And so I did that. And that was what it was. It was fine, no big deal. We're leaving, we're walking back, and she goes, just so you know, that'll be $200. I was like, excuse me? She's like, it's $200. I'm like, well, you're about to learn a hard lesson here, sweetheart. One, I don't have $200. And two, that wasn't worth $200. Follow me here, people. Okay, this is 2007, okay? When the economy was still good, the dollar had a value to it, okay? A blowjob was worth about $30 in those days. This guy knows what I'm talking about. You can get a blowy for about $30, okay? Now, we all agree that a vagina is twice as good as a mouth, right? Okay, that means the sex should have been $60. Okay, I'll round to 75 to tip because I'm a good person. But there's no way you're getting there's no way you're getting 800 games of Galaga out of me, goddammit. What's gonna happen is you're gonna leave disappointed. And she goes, I'm gonna call the police. And I was like, you can't call the police because you overcharged for vagina. That's not on the books anymore, okay? I win this interaction, you get nothing, bye. And then I found my buddy and I was like, we have to leave. He's like, why do you have to leave? And I was like, there's a whole thing, like. He's like, what did you do? I'm like, I can't explain it, just know the economy is going to shit, all right? We gotta get the fuck out of here. So when you do cocaine as much as I used to do it, you get a little hungry from time to time. Okay, like I said, the economy was in a good place in 2007. You could walk into a McDonald's, get a double cheeseburger for $1.07. That's with tax. Yeah, it is. So I walk in like Mr. Big Dick, okay? I got $2.14. I'm gonna get me 2 burgers, okay? Walk in, drop my money on the counter, get my prize, walk off. I'm walking through the door, I take a bite of the first double cheeseburger, I immediately lose my goddamn mind, okay? Now, if I wasn't on as much cocaine as I was on, maybe I would have handled this differently. But let me tell you the situation I encountered, okay? Double cheeseburger, okay? Top patty beef. We all follow? Bottom patty sausage. What? Now, the average person would just go back and say, hey, there's been a mistake. And I didn't have that in me. I just went, who wants to fucking die tonight? Who's fucking challenging me? Who did this? And she's like, the girl was like, what's the problem? And I was like, I'll tell you what the fucking problem is. Top patty beef, bottom patty sausage. She's like, what? I was like, top patty beef. I start like trying to get people to chant with me. I'm like, top patty beef. No? All right. She's like, what do you mean, sir? I was like, what do you mean, what do I mean? Top patty beef, bottom patty sausage, no like. And then she said to me, sir, the sausage is kept in a different part of the restaurant. We would never make that mistake. Excuse me? Not only would you make that mistake, you fucking did make that mistake. Now I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, and I'm saying, I want to convey to her that she needs to try it to believe me. So I'm like, fucking taste it. But instead of like presenting it to her to taste, I'm just punching it into the counter as hard as I can. I was like, fucking taste it. You taste that? Taste it. It's fucking sausage. You know it's sausage. So she responded pretty negatively to that. She actually said the phrase, sir, if there's sausage on that burger, it's because you brought it from home. Then why the fuck is it the same temperature, lady? I got a lot of fucking questions, okay? I said, you know what? We're not going to talk about this anymore. We're going to go old school Street Fighter 2. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to fight you. And then, based on size and ethnic background, I'm fighting everybody in this McDonald's. Till I get to the fry cook, okay? He's obviously the boss. He's seen the most shit. When I beat him, there's gonna be a cutscene. You know what that cutscene's gonna be? It's gonna be me standing on top of all of your bodies making a triple cheeseburger. And then I went behind the counter to start fighting this woman, which I don't recommend doing it, but that's what I did, okay? Went back there to go beat this chick up, and then this police officer who saw the whole thing was like, what are you doing? And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna fight everybody in the restaurant, and then I'm gonna go cook my own food. And he's like, no, you're going to jail. And then he took me, true to his word, took me straight to jail, guys. Took me to jail with a felony amount of cocaine in my pocket. Never searched me one time. I was the most popular dude in jail that night. I was like, let's just do lines, guys. And all of my cellmates were like, are you a narc? I was like, what kind of narc keeps it in a fucking Glad bag, bro? No way. We're partying. So if you learn anything from that story, it's if you have a bunch of cocaine on you, nothing bad can ever happen to you, okay? So take that with you. For a long time, that was the most fucked up I'd ever been. And then I kept living life. And so I got way more fucked up. This happened last year, okay? This is the drunkest I've ever been in my life. I was in Lawrence, Kansas, about 45 minutes away. I was like, okay, I'm fucking drunk. We did a show, and I got so hammered at the show, they were like, you don't have to go up. And I was like, no, I'll do it. And they were like, no, we're telling you you don't have to go up. And I was like, oh. And then they paid me the money they were going to pay me to not go up. They were like, no, dude, don't fucking go on stage. I was like that level of drunk. And then I met a guy, okay? This is a comedian. His name's Jack Merriwell. You can look it up if you're stupid. But probably shouldn't say his name on a taping, but who cares? It's Jack Merriwell, 2 L's. Anyway, we were hanging out. I'd never hung out with this guy before. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm fucked up, so I'm your responsibility now. And he's like, hey, man, I got a wife. I got to go home. I was like, yo, fuck all that. We got to sober me up or I'm going to get a DUI. And he was like, yeah, dude, that really has nothing to do with me. And I was like, fucking black comedians in this city need to stand together. Jack's a very white person, okay? It's weird that I took that angle with him, but I was like, we got to do this for Trayvon. He's like, it's like, okay. So I'm fucked up. We walk into this burrito spot. I see the sign, college special, 2 burritos for 1. And I'm like, Jack, we each get 4 burritos. And he's like, no, dude, if you just get 2, we can split 2. You get 1, I get 1. I was like, you're losing money if you think that's the way you do it, man. You gotta. So I get 2 burritos, Jack gets 1. I make it about halfway through one of my burritos. I start falling asleep. He's like, hey, man, this isn't working. I was like, you're right. He's like, are you sobering up at all? And I was like, not really. And he's like, so what do you want to do, man? What's the plan? I was like, you know what? Let's go dance. He's like, what? I was like, if I get dancy, I'll sweat all the alcohol out, and then we're good. He's like, maybe. I was like, yeah, that's what we're doing. So we found this dance club in Lawrence. It's the most popular spot, apparently, on that street because there's a line around the block. Jack looks at me, he's like, okay, so we're not going to go in that place. And I'm still eating my second burrito. I'm like, no, we got to do it. And he's like, we're not going to make it in. I'm like, follow me. So we start walking to the front of the line. I see some cute girls with a big purse. I'm like, hey, is this place cool? She's like, yeah. And then I drop my burrito in her purse, Matt Damon style. I don't know what movie that happened in, but it's just cooler to say Matt Damon style. So drop the burrito in, Matt Damon style. We walk to the front of the line. I look at the security guard. He looks at me, a man almost 30 years of age, with another man almost 30 years of age, trying to get into a teeny bar. And we're like, he's like, dude, you got to get in line. And I said, I don't have to get in any fucking line. I'm with Comedy Central. We're supposed to be VIP. And the guy goes, what? I was like, yeah, dude, Comedy Central. I'm Brandon. This is Jack. It's on the list. And he's like, it's not on the list. Now, keep in mind, it's not on the list because I made it up that second. But then I go, okay, so what you're saying is you want me to get Comedy Central down here and shut this bitch down. And then the other security guy goes, did those guys say Comedy Central? Yeah, they're supposed to be here. They got VIP for the night. I was like, yep. So VIP on this particular night is a bunch of couches, okay, occupied by two old men, me and Jack. And that's it. It's just the two of us. Nobody else is in VIP. We're just hanging out, having a good time, just two dudes. And then they bring over a bottle of Jack Daniels on ice, and they're like, this is for you guys. And I look at Jack and I say, hey, bud, I understand that I made a promise to you that I'd sober up at this one, but that will not be happening. Just then, like a fucking angel, the girl with the burrito in her purse walks up. She's got no idea. She's walking by, and I stop her. I'm like, hey, I got a burrito in your purse. And she said, what? And I was like, yeah, bitch, I'm Matt Damon. I put a fucking burrito in your purse. Get it out and give it to me. She's like, is that some kind of pickup line? And then Jack, being the reasonable guy he is like, it's not a pickup line. He's just an idiot. He put a burrito in your bag as we were walking up. Also, he thinks Matt Damon did that in Ocean's 11. I was like, all of it's true. She starts digging through her purse, finds the burrito. It wasn't wrapped or anything. It was a fucking loose She hands it to me, and there's a makeup pencil sticking out of it. I look at that, and I go, well, give it to me. I start eating the burrito. She's like, wait a second, what is this? And I'm like, you gotta think fast, you're in VIP, you're trying to impress some women. I was like, you haven't heard? She's like, no. I was like, I'm the guy from Burritos with Brandon on Comedy Central. And then she said, that's my favorite show. I watch it every single week. Oh. Every week, huh? She's like, I watch it every week. Keep in mind, this is something I made up on the spot, but she's the biggest fan of it, so I'm like, do you want to get a selfie? She's like, yeah. So she's got 3 friends with her. I take a selfie with her, then her friends want selfies. Then people from the club start seeing what's happening, and then they get in line to take selfies with the guy from Burritos with Brandon. There's a very stressful line of people that I now have to deal with that want a picture with me because I'm famous. And I'm not famous. I turned to Jack, I'm like, this is kind of getting out of hand. And he's like, this is literally all your fault. And I was like, oh. So I'm like eating there's like a dozen selfies of girls in the club with me eating a burrito, about to pass out. It's amazing, but it happened. And so we're hanging out. People are like pushing people out of the line. It's getting a little crazy. Security walks up and they go, 2 things, man. 1, you're not allowed to eat in the club. And then I was like, where does it say that? And then he went, all right, carry on. The second thing was like, what? That worked? I was like, I might be God. Oh, fuck. I might be God, and this is how I'm doing it. Okay. He goes, so I'm going to be your security guard for the night. It's getting a little crazy in here, so if anyone makes you feel uncomfortable, you just have to point at them and say security, and we'll have them removed. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, man, we want you to be safe. And I was like, oh, okay. So it clears out, we're hanging out, it's me and the 4 girls and Jack. I am terrible with names, so I've named the girls thusly. From hottest to least hot, A, B, C, and D. And I'm calling them this to their face. I'm looking at Jack. I'm like, new plan, bud. I'll never sober up ever. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try to bang girl A, okay? If it doesn't work out, there's always girl B. Girl C's a floater, and girl D's you for hanging out, man. That's all you. They hear this, and they're like, that's so funny. And I'm like, why the fuck would you stick around after being objectified that hard? That's, oh, because I'm God. That's right. Okay. So we're hanging out. I'm eating the burrito. People have brought me more burritos from like shit is weird. People are like sneaking burritos in the club to give to me, like some kind of weird doggy dead bird tribute. Like, and they're not giving it to me, having a conversation. They're like, here's your burrito, sir, and walking off. I'm like, this show must be a fucking hit. Like, it's weird they're acting this way. So it's winding down. It's me. I got A on one side, B on the other, and me and A are kicking it, okay? She's eating out of my burrito. I'm drinking out of her drink. It's crazy. It's like cross-contamination. I'm like, all right, this is going to go really well for me. And then C starts opening her mouth. You know how much of a bitch she is. She starts running her mouth. She's like, I don't know, you shouldn't eat food that's not like organic and like grass-fed and like blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, security? Just to see, you know? Security comes to, this guy is huge. Comes over, lifts up a 98-pound girl by the armpits, takes her to the front door, and physically throws her out of the club. I was like, one, thank you, but I want to be clear that that's not what I said to do. Don't throw humans, okay? Don't do that. He's like, sorry, bud. I was like, all right, cool. So we're having the conversation, we're breaking it down. The night's getting weird. This light-skinned dude comes in. I don't know if you know what light-skin means. Okay, in the black community, there's regular and then light-skin, and light-skin's like the worst thing you can be. It's like the worst. This light-skinned dude comes in the club, looks at girl A, and says, we're in math together. I've always had a crush on you. Can I buy you a drink? And I was like, what the fuck? I get super pissed, and I'm like, security, get this guy. And security is like, he's one of the football players. We can't kick him out. Also, we've been looking up burritos with Brandon, and we can't find anything. I was like, really? Can't find anything. He's like, no, man. I was like, okay. Can we just get one more bottle of Jack then? And he's like, yeah. And they bring us another bottle of Jack with the tab. The tab, here's how they do it. You just write your address and they bill it to that. And because it's VIP, they'll bill you the thing. You don't have to pay it right there. So I'm looking at this tab. It's $497 for 2 bottles of Jack Daniels and 6 couches. And I'm like, I don't think that this was worth this. And then genius hits me. So I'm like, okay, so we just sign this and you're gonna bill it? And he's like, yes. And I was like, cool. So I take the thing, and then I wrote the address of the place that I was in, and then I signed it Comedy Central, and I handed it back to him, and he goes, you're good. And then we just fucking left, because that's what you do in that situation. It was like, we're good? And he's like, yeah, we're good. We'll just bill it to these guys. And I was like, okay. So we left. I look around. It's just, it's girl B on the other side of the street talking to different people. And it's me and Jack. And Jack's with his girl D. And I'm trying to maybe finagle girl D. That doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to hook up with anyone. I got to go home alone. I'm fucking hammered. I'm walking around with a bottle of Jack Daniels. I've been lying this whole night to everyone I've encountered. I'm going to tell someone the truth about what's going on with me. We're going to figure it out, and that's going to be the redemption arc of this story, okay? So I, being very drunk, with a bottle of Jack Daniels in my hand, walk up to the first young lady I see, and I say, I'm trying to get, it's art what I said. I got to get it. I said, I'm fucked up right now, and if you don't sleep with me, I'm going to get a DUI, so what's it going to be? And so she screamed rape, which, in retrospect, was the right move on her part. It's like, man, okay. So I ran from that situation. I find a police officer. And I'm like, obviously there's a lot of tension in the world, but if I explain to this cop, hey, I'm fucked up and no one will fuck me, and I'm a little scared to drive, this police officer will find a solution, and that's what we're gonna do. So I walk up to the cop and I say, here's what it is, man. This bottle of Jack is number 3 for the night. I'm fucked up. No one wants to fuck me. What are you gonna do about it? And then he said, put both of your hands behind your arm, or behind your back. And I was like, okay. And then he took me to jail where I had a considerably worse time because I had no cocaine, guys. So always bring cocaine with you to jail, and never rape. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.